Hello everyone, happy Friday. Hope you all are doing well. Hopefully you can hear me. I thought for a second it might be echoing, but I don't think it is. I think we're good. All right, I'm gonna assume that we're good. Hello everyone, happy Friday. Hope you all are doing well. We are here for another live stream as per usual here on Fridays. If you are new here or for some reason you don't know who I am and you have just stumbled on this stream for God knows what reason, my name is Evie Lupine, and here on my channel every Friday at 6 p.m. we do a little interactive community Q&A. Oh, something has happened with the dog camera. Okay, give me a second to what's going on with the dog camera? That's weird. I'm gonna try to just unplug it and plug it back in. Is it doing anything weird? No. I don't know if that'll fix it. We'll see. I've not had that happen before. That is really weird. What if I deactivate and reactivate? Yes, that has fixed it. Whoa! Except for now it's frozen. Oh no! Technical difficulties. Okay. Yeah, now that app is just not working. Okay, cool. Well, that's interesting. Might just have to have the Bandit camera not be on for today because I apparently can't run that program. All right, we're just gonna close that. And there we go. Okay, so we'll revisit the Bandit camera later, and maybe it'll work better later in the stream. But anyways, hi again. My name's Evie Lupine, and we do a little Q&A. Usually we have my co-host Bandita on the stream with us. She's my now 14-year-old Pomeranian. She is officially 14 years old. She turned 14 on March 1st, and she has been having a little bit of a birthday celebration week. Not that she knows because she's a dog, but it's been fun. It's been a good time. Yeah, I know. Bandit camera down. It was working fine earlier today, which is the weird part. Like, I had it on the stream preview set up for like 10 minutes before the stream actually started, so I don't know what's going on there, but you know, maybe I'll have Bandita be in my lap or something a little bit later on, and we can enjoy Bandit's presence that way instead. How about that? Yeah, it's definitely a stream first for me. I've definitely had other technology have issues, but not the Bandit camera in that specific way. But we do a little Q&A here on the channel on Fridays. We have a Q&A box up there where you can put your questions. Basically how this works is you all come in, have to be at least 18 years old, as it says right there. You read the rules, you are respectful to me and the mods, listen to the rules that are down below, and then you can ask questions. You can either put them in the just general main chat, in which case I can't promise I'm going to see it or get to it. I do try my best to answer questions that are in there in the order that they come in, but just with, you know, the amount of questions and length of the chat that we have, I don't typically get to all of them. So if you want to make sure that I do answer your question, you can use the Q&A box up there that'll put your question in kind of a isolated chamber of only questions that will preserve it in the chat, or you can use a super chat or Streamlabs. Any dollar amount, doesn't matter. It'll highlight it on screen. It'll even read it out for you after a certain dollar amount, and then I will answer your question right away. And that is essentially all you need to know. Oh, no worries, Sean. Your stream gifts are very appreciated, but certainly not necessary. And oh my god, especially in this economy, there's a reason why stream gifts and, you know, donations and things for me to answer questions are totally optional. Like, just totally get it. What even is happening what even is the economy? Does anyone even know? I don't think so. Yeah, maybe she had to do a secret operation, which is snoozing and licking the blanket. Those are usually her two very secret operations that she's up to. But yeah, anyways, that is what y'all need to know about that. And basically, usually in the title of the live stream, I put a couple of suggestions for what we could talk about. However, this is a general Q&A, so I generally answer questions that go into BDSM, kink dynamics, dating, relationships, dating apps, pop culture stuff, social media happenings, so on and so forth. Those are just the general themes. It is not a requirement to talk about or ask questions about things that are in the title. Ask what you want, but I do come into these streams with things on my mind oftentimes, and I've noticed an uptick weirdly in content that I assume is about DDLG, and then I look into it, and then actually it's like weirdly sexualized autistic girlfriend content, where as far as I can tell, it's never labeled as a DDLG or little thing. It's like very like infantilizing of people, like women specifically with autism, which I'm like, I didn't know that was a thing people felt a certain type of way about. I didn't know that we were doing that, but apparently we are. So I was like, maybe we could talk about that some more. Just general, always a good idea to have a chit chat about DDLG and littles and age play and all that, because it's a fairly popular kink, but for some reason does not have too many educational influencers that talk about it very much, which I think is interesting, just how that ends up shaking out. I did the homework and now have opinions on situationships violate Kant's formula of humanity. I was wondering if you would remember. I am curious about an answer. Trivially, yes, if unreconstructed Kant. Probably yes, under certain plausible restrictions. Could write up my response today or during the Patreon stream if desired. Also, my spell check recognizes situationship as a word, and that seems unfortunate. Yeah, situationships, I feel like, are an economic indicator of a recession. I have no scientific data for that, but I feel like situationships have the vibe, even if maybe not a causal link, they have a similar energy to a recession, if that makes sense. But yeah, if you want to share that during the Patreon stream, I'm curious to know what the full opinion is, because I mean, do we even really know what a situationship is? What defines limitations of a situationship? Because I think the first time I remember seeing it was on Facebook. It was like no, probably not actually, because Facebook was, it's complicated. When did I first know what a situationship was? When did that come about as a term? I feel like it's relatively recent. I feel like it normally describes like sort of an on-again, off-again relationship, or like really people that won't get committal about a particular relationship label, but not in a relationship anarchist intentionally not labeling it kind of way, but in a, yeah, we're like friends and we fuck, or we might not be friends, or we might not be fucking, we might not be dating, we might not be romantically into each other, or maybe we are, and they can't really define the parameters of the relationship, and like usually one of the two people in the relationship wants more than the other, and it just seems very messy. Do people like situationships? I feel like they're mostly negative. Like it's in some weird liminal space between dating and not dating, and fucking and not fucking, and I feel like that has to be, at least in my brain, that sounds very unpleasant, and I would like to not experience that. Situationships used to be called dating around. I think it's from like 2017, 2018-ish. That sounds about right in my brain, because it was definitely before the pandemic, but I definitely don't remember it being a thing as like a common term, at least when I was in college. So it would have had to have started to exist between like 2016 and 2018. Somewhere in there. Somebody probably has. You can look at Google search result volumes for situationships, I think, and then that'll probably tell you when the term started being widely adopted. A romantic or sexual relationship that is not considered to be formal or established. Ah, okay. Well, there you go. The dictionary has spoken, apparently. I don't know if that's like an actual dictionary or if that's Urban Dictionary, which I don't even know if people use it anymore, but it still is a website because it just has been around for so long. The sheer inertia of it will keep it going. The pandemic really cemented a lot of situationships, I think. Imagine being in the pandemic and having to socially isolate with your situationship. Oh, I've just now visualized that, and it sounds awful. Like being in a situationship and you were like hooking up or something the like night before lockdown stuff gets announced in your city, and you're like, well, if I am out of my car by myself, I will get pulled over by the police, so I guess I just gotta stay here, and we're in a COVID bubble together now. It sounds. Hopefully your house has a lot of books in it. Hopefully you have a good internet connection and don't drive each other insane. I was bad for just like regular relationships. I mean, I know also people, it's like the flip side of that is I definitely know people who decided to isolate with people who were originally just like sex partners to them, and then they ended up like getting married. So, you know, sometimes it goes the other way. People are like, actually, you know what? I wouldn't have thought this. We actually work really well together. And then they actually start a genuine, like, long-term dating relationship, and then they get married. So, you know, fate is a fickle and odd thing for sure. I know a lot of relationships of convenience / necessity that happened. Yeah, it just sounds... I don't know. I'm too much of a romantic at heart. I think that would just drive me insane. I couldn't stand it. I wouldn't be able to tolerate it. If this is your definition of situationship, then it almost certainly violates even the most sympathetic version of Kant's formula of humanity. I shall save the rest for the Patreon stream. Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm just going off of vibes. I don't know what the actual literal definition of situationship is. That's just the energy I've experienced being vaguely around them. Although, weirdly, one of the unexpected benefits, now that I'm thinking about it, of polyamory is you don't really, and maybe this is just the people I know that do poly and like, you know, the poly circles I'm around, is never say never, but it's at least a lot harder to end up in a situationship when you're doing polyamory, because if you're doing non-monogamy just in general, you are most likely to be either doing a relationship anarchy, in which case any situationship like experience is like known and intentional and like not really that uncommon, and I think that removes a lot of the problematic elements that can be caused by being in a situationship, because you kind of know what you're both getting into and it's not weird for the setting you're in and people around you. Or if you're doing more sort of formalized, structured polyamory, other types of non-monogamy, then you can't really have a situationship because the other people around you that you're dating expect there to be clear boundaries and parameters around the relationship. Like, oh yeah, I'm technically doing a friends with benefit thing here, and I'm dating this person, I'm doing this. Like, you have to have a lot more defined boundaries around each relationship, so you can't really have a situationship, or at least, again, it's more intentional. But then, like, I don't know, it seems weird, not my thing. And also, yeah, it does require a lot of negotiations and expectations, and that makes it difficult. Yeah, because it's, if you have to be like, all right, we're gonna sit down and we're gonna share STI results, and here's the standard in my polycule for safer sex practices and barrier usage, and this is what I'm using for birth control, or what you're using for birth control, and like all of those things just pop up. Or especially, like, you know, I feel like one of the other things I experience in polyamory a lot too, that I think happens for some reason less in especially vanilla monogamous relationships, is very upfront communication about like, so what are you looking for? Because obviously if you're polyamorous and you are pursuing new relationships and partnerships, it's probably for like some reason. You're looking for something in particular that you're either not getting out of your other relationships that you find interesting for some reason that you want to have more of. And so it's like, okay, are you like looking for a nesting partner? Are you looking for just like people to have threesomes with? Are you looking for like a kink relationship because your primary partner is vanilla? Like, you have, like, at least in my experience, pretty early on, I would say, I've had these conversations like before even going on a date, but you know, at least probably by like 2-3 dates in, you're talking about like, hey, so like, are we looking for the same thing? Are we compatible? Because if you're like looking for a threesome person and you're on a date with looking for a nesting life partner, you're probably wasting each other's time. And so why would you do that? But especially I think younger vanilla people kind of seem to not mind doing that, because they're just kind of don't even know what they want anyways. And so like, look, I'm just going to see where this goes. I just want to see what's out there. I'm just playing the field. I'm looking at what the market's doing, and it's, God, terrifying, horrifying in every possible direction. No, thank you. Oh no, you moved to Europe in January of 2020? Oh god, that's well, I hope you already spoke the language of whatever country you moved to. That's a rough landing there. Oh my god. Yeah. This is my fuck buddy. This is my fluid bonded concubine. This is my non-fluid bonded concubine. This is my first spouse, superior. This is my second spouse, inferior. And this is my affair partner. Yes, exactly. Yep, you got it. 100%. Those are all the terms that we use. I would say this is my spouse first class, and this is my spouse second class. Like you're talking about like a lieutenant or something. I think that would be really funny. This is my lieutenant first class. Yeah. Somebody should do that. This is somebody's kink. Somebody's already done it. I don't even have to worry about that. I just don't know if it's been posted about on the internet somewhere. Yeah, being poly, a number of my relationships have been situationship-like, but knowingly and mutually understood and communicated to be that way, so it wasn't this weird limbo that people regarded as, yeah, exactly, that's my point. It's like, you can have something that's situationship-like, but the terms are so defined so quickly that it loses most of the bad parts of being in that kind of situation, which I think is generally an undesirable state for most monogamous vanilla people to be in, which is like, what are we even doing here? Does anybody know who's riding the bus? Who's driving the bus? I don't know where we're going. We're all just blindfolded and racing down the highway and hoping this works out. But yeah, I don't know. I guess the chaos, I don't know. The chaos probably works for some people. I definitely know people, luckily they're not in my polycule, but are very tangentially related to it, that are more loosey-goosey and fluid with their relationships, and where dating and fucking in various combinations begin and end. And my brain just is not compatible with that, so more power to them. I would like to stay minimum 20 feet away if possible. Sounds very much not my thing. Maybe situationship simply means they want to be cool, calm, and collected, and not wanting anything too heavy. I don't know about cool, calm, and collected. I, like, as a front, okay, maybe this is my bias against situationships showing, but I feel like my external experience of observing them is that the people in them, at least one of them, is probably uncomfortable or at least confused about it. So there might be a mutual fronting of like, yeah, sure, no, whatever. Like, it's cool, it's fine. We gotta like define anything or like worry about whatever. And so they're both kind of mutually fronting, like they're totally cool with whatever. You don't have to go, don't worry about labels. Don't worry about anything formal. It just like is what it is, vibes. But usually there's one person who's like more okay with that than the other, which, you know, I think is the line between like casual relationship and situationship, in my humble opinion. This is the thing about monog people, though. Actually, most of them aren't actually monogamous, but still identify as monogamous. Let's call that unethical non-monogamy. Yeah. I mean, I think that a good percentage of the people who are monogamous, but in sort of a default, haven't really thought about it too much. Like, they haven't really deeply considered doing anything other than monogamy. They are monogamous not because of what they want for their own behavior, but because they're afraid about what their partner's behavior would be if they actually did non-monogamy. Like, it's less about, I want freedom for me, or I don't care about having freedom for myself in that way, or I'm satisfied. It's like, well, but like, I don't want my partner to be dating anybody else, so clearly I have to like lay claim on them, and that's like, you know, put the talons in. No one else can have what's mine, right? I mean, I of course can handle dating more than one person, but like, can't trust my partner that way. And I think that's probably what I think if people had the skill set to do non-monogamy, like if we were taught from a young age how to navigate these relationships, if we were taught how to set boundaries and know what we want and communicate with people and all the things you need to have any relationship work out well, but especially with multiple people being involved, I think they would be a lot better. And I think a lot more people, I don't know if it would be a lot, I'd say maybe more than 10, less than 25% of people that are currently monogamous would choose to be non-monogamous instead, because there wouldn't be that anxiety about, like, my partner got stolen from me because she started going out with the hot waitress at the Applebee's and then she decided she was a lesbian and she left me. Like, that would be less of a source of terror in people's hearts. But you know, it never require a lot of things to shift. That I don't think are likely to. As a truly monogamous person, it is definitely very hard to find other people that are also truly monogamous. Yeah, I mean, and like, I'm not one of those people that's like, I don't, like, humans aren't meant to be monogamous. Like, I am very much across the board, whether it's talking about, like, dating preferences or kink or anything. Diversity is the rule for humanity. That is how we have survived for so long as a species, is the bizarre level of flexibility that we contain, and that we can be anywhere on a spectrum, from super monogamous to super polyamorous to kinky to super vanilla, all different levels of interest and different forms of sexuality or no interest at all. I think that is what allows humanity to survive the way that it has, so I'm completely confident that there are both very truly dyed-in-the-wool polyamorous people and very truly dyed-in-the-wool, like, actually not interested in dating anybody else ever for any reason, monogamous people. I think, obviously, that extreme ends are the least common because distribution, but they still exist. Not one of those people that's like, everyone, actually all human beings are, like, meant to be polyamorous. Like, that's just ridiculous. No. It's like, but also, like, you know, it's my own, like, I know people in my personal life that are like, no, you just really you never would. You just never would even think about that. It would not even cross your mind. Oh, this is so cold. Did I, like, accidentally change the temperature in my fridge? This is, like, almost, like, painfully cold. Weird. Okay, I'm fighting a brain freeze. I'm losing the fight to the brain freeze. Oh, I don't remember the last time I even had a brain freeze. Ugh, no. No. Don't like it. Not for me. Ugh, okay. All right. So again, if you want to have your question answered, you can use the Q&A box up there, or you can use a super chat or Streamlabs, and you can donate, and I'll read it out loud, and I'll get to it right away. Otherwise, we go in the order the questions come in. I think I have waffled for long enough about situationships and dating, but certainly if we have more questions about monogamy, non-monogamy, dating, and so on, we can definitely talk more about that. Yeah, it's definitely a spectrum. I think being monogamous is like being vegan. Everyone is non-monog by default, but culture teaches monogamy. Gee, thanks, Jesus. Wait, does culture teach veganism? Or do you mean, I think maybe you have that flipped around, like being like, I don't know, I don't fully understand what you're saying, because I don't think humans are by, unless you mean that there's like a subsection of culture that teaches people to be vegan. Because I think the humans, like, I don't even know. Like, if you left a baby in the woods and somehow it lived long enough by itself to survive, like, what would it think? Well, it wouldn't have language, so you probably have difficulty communicating with it anyways, because humans don't spontaneously create language unless they have other humans around. So that's weird. Anyways, I figured I'm only qualified to leave a comment how it works for me, and I was non-monogamous before I was familiar with the term or concept. I just know that I don't do close relationships. Yeah, I mean, there's people like that just recreate ethical non-monogamy from first principles. They're just like, why wouldn't I date more than one person at a time as long as everyone knows what's going on? Like, who gives a fuck? No, I mean, that happens all the time. Hopefully, usually not in a cult environment. But that unfortunately happens because a lot of cult leaders are like, well, I got all this power, so how about I just make a rule that says I get to fuck all the women? And it's like crazy how that's like the second thing they think of is like, what if I decided I could fuck all the women? It's crazy. All right, so moving on from cults here, I'm looking for some questions. Anybody here gone down some content rabbit holes? It seems like 2026 is the year of check out this amazing artist, and I like it. Actually, I've been really struggling with YouTube content recently. I am a YouTuber. I like listening to YouTube. I like watching YouTube, and I have a lot of people that I keep up with, right? I keep up with like Drew Gooden. I listen to the Majority Report in the morning. I like the, It's a Bit Fruity podcast, like Behind the Bastards. Definitely a lot of like longer form podcasts I listen to. But I've really struggled to find like fun, enjoyable content to watch regularly that's not related to my job. And that gets difficult. I mean, I do have interests. I just find like everything's like so, like it's so depressing lately. Like it's all about like talking about AI or the climate or what's going on in politics. And I feel like this month is the first month I've ever really experienced genuine burnout about the news. I usually have a very, very high tolerance for keeping up with what's going on in the world, whether it's with, regular news stuff or podcasts or YouTube videos. Like, I'll just consume it, even if it's, a lot. I'm kind of able to separate it a little bit. But right now, I'm just like, I just don't want to watch another video talking about insert thing here. I am aware of it. It sucks. I feel helpless, and this is only making me feel worse, and I just can't keep engaging with it. I just can't do it. And I am trying to find more stuff for my content gap that's funner, that's not music, because I listen to music at the gym, but I don't generally listen to like songs I enjoy while I'm working. So what I have been doing is I've been playing the Monterey Bay Aquarium live streams. I had one on earlier that was like the baby squid live stream, and it was just a bunch of baby squids with like some like lo-fi music in the background, and that was pretty wholesome. I like that. But unfortunately, no, I haven't really gone down any content rabbit holes recently. I wish I had more of that. I've had a lot of really good new music discoveries this year, I would say. Although, actually, a lot of that's actually been going back. I've actually, like, rediscovered a lot of older artists that I just either hadn't ever listened to before or just, like, hadn't known about it all. Like I've been listening to a lot of Lords of Acid and Cyclone 9, and like it's been just sort of it's been a very EBM, aggro tech, dark side trance, dark ambience, whatever the fuck you call that general wheelhouse of a genre. Sort of past 6 months of my musical listening habits. It's been interesting. Monterey Bay stuff I really like. The jellyfish one is I think my favorite, and I got to go to the Monterey Bay Aquarium. I went there last month. I went to the Monterey Bay Aquarium. Holy fuck, is it expensive? Oh my god, it was $65 a person. The live stream is free. Watch the live stream. It's like you only get one camera at a time, but it's like 40% of the experience. It's fine. But it was great. I really like the Monterey Bay Aquarium. It was smaller than I imagined it was going to be. I think I went through it even taking a pretty slow pace in like under 4 hours. It was not even like half a day. It was really busy though. Also, no one in California knows how to use a raincoat. That was like the weirdest thing. Just walking to the Monterey Bay Aquarium and realizing I am not in... There's something that happens, and I don't know where the shift is, because Portland and Seattle are the same, where, like, everyone knows how to wear a raincoat. But something happens between, like, Eugene and, I don't know, like, Santa Cruz, maybe? Where, like, people decide the only way to handle rain is with an umbrella. It's just, like, I don't even remember the last time I saw more than one umbrella on the street. And now there's 50 of them. Why are there so many umbrellas? And I don't even know where people... Just the idea of even carrying an umbrella just seems so archaic to me. I went to the vegan Mexican place. I know the one you're talking about, and I wish I remember what it was called. But it was like a little hole in the wall, and they had like a million things on the menu, and they had a really, really good burrito that had cactus in it, which is like not a thing that exists in Mexican cuisine anywhere that I've been to, because California Mexican cuisine is objectively the best. Even the vegan stuff is better than anything else I've had anywhere else. It is unfortunately true. I am sorry to report. Sometimes the things they say about California in a positive way are actually true. But yeah, it was a slapping vegan Mexican place. Oh my god, it was awesome. And there's no one in there. It was totally empty. It was great. 10 out of 10. They had vegan flan on the menu, but they were out of it when I went, so I did not get to have vegan flan, and I was very sad. I was very much looking forward to the vegan flan. But it was great. Yeah, it was a 10 out of 10. Love it. I like Monterey in general. I'd love to go back when it's not pouring rain in the middle of January. I'd like to go when I'm not freezing my butt off. I mean, yes, that's exactly Lords of Acid. That's like 90% of the music. It's great. Holy fuck, Lords of Acid. That's a flashback. I remember convincing a record store to give the uncensored cover art version of a CD. I don't even... Is it the one with like the red demon ladies on it? It probably was. They have like... I'm just so used to being around kink stuff on the internet that like I don't even... Did like nudity and stuff like that doesn't even like register in my brain anymore. But like in the era when that would have come out, like even... the 90s into the 2000s, like that would have been really risque to have they would have had to like have a, like in the CD racks, they would have had like to have a cover on it to be like, this has got some spicy stuff on it that you might not want to look at. But how times have changed. Yeah, it was El Cantaro. Yeah, that's exactly what it was. It was El Cantaro. That's I don't know if there's any other ones that are in Monterey, but that was the one that we went to, and it was awesome. It was great. In California, it's so rare for us to have heavy rain that it seems weird to buy a raincoat that takes up a bunch of room in the closet. Umbrellas are small. Well, that's it. I was technically in Northern California, which definitely gets rain. So, I don't know. That's it seemed... It, like, in Los Angeles, totally get it. It's Los Angeles. It's basically a desert. Like, who gets rain down there? But if you're in Northern California, every time I've been there, it's rained. So, like, for years. The first time I went to San Francisco, it rained. Every time I've been to... Except for one time when I went to Dark Odyssey, it did not rain. But if it's anywhere between October and March... Every time I've been, it's been raining, so, you know, I thought it was funny. Because to me, like, you can have a rain jacket that's also a windbreaker and it's, like, multi-purpose. But I don't know. Maybe people in California don't do outside things. I don't know. The demon lady definitely had external genitalia. Oh, I see. Okay. Okay. Things that my brain doesn't register when I look at cover art. It's like, oh yeah, there's demon ladies on there. I could not tell you. I think they had their tits out. I don't remember anything else. I don't remember what appendages they had, what they looked like, how sensitive they were or not. Could not tell you. Wasn't thinking about that. Wasn't looking at it. But yeah. But yeah, it's like they got a lot of different kink representation, Lords of Acid. I'm just shocked I haven't heard more of them at kink events. Like, I don't think I've ever heard Lords of Acid played at a kink venue. And I'm like, they have so many songs that like are like totally at home in a kink environment. How are we not playing this? But yeah, I'm not a DJ. Maybe I don't know better. The only time I went to Folsom Street Fair, it rained the entire time. That's actually, when I've been to Folsom, those are the times that it hasn't rained when I've been there. But it's September, it's the very end of the month. It kind of can go either way. If it's going to be a longer summer and it's still warm, or if it's like, hey, it's raining. Good luck, it's raining. But yeah, so I recommend Lords of Acid. If you're looking for something new in your kink music playlist, give them a listen. Yeah, they got all the bits apparently. Good to know. Anyways, that's the rabbit hole music update. I don't know how kinky they actually are, if it's like a shtick. I haven't really looked into like who's in the band, or whether or not it's like a personal thing, or if it's just, you know, we're doing something edgy to be edgy. That's a distinct possibility. I heard in a podcast recently that some folk are using Caregiver Little as a replacement for DDLG. Is that true? Okay. I am sure there are people who have relationships where the labels as written are daddy dom and little girl, but they don't call it DDLG, they call it CGL. However, CGL is more of an umbrella term, and DDLG is a type of CGL, if that makes sense. Like, a daddy dom little girl relationship is a type of caregiver little relationship. So it's already kind of nested underneath that. Like, a CGL relationship could be mommy dom little girl, mommy dom little boy, non-gendered specific authority figure, and like little, like you can have any combination of gender, mommy, daddy, whatever caregiver flavor you like, and then whatever type of little that you like underneath that umbrella spectrum. So I don't know. I have a really, really hard time believing that people are going to en masse give up DDLG as a term, because it's kind of like if instead of calling something kitten play, you decided to call it pet play instead. Like, I mean, yeah, it is, but like you are doing pet play as a kitten, so what you're doing is also called kitten play. I just don't see those terms like ever permanently going away. But I think unfortunately DDLG has kind of gotten a little bit of public attention, mostly in a negative way, and so I can imagine just for, you know, personal reasons, people might move away from it for that reason, just to like not catch the smoke, but also because there's a very specific image that people have of what DDLG looks like. It's, you know, the tutus and the pink and the stuffy collections and onesies and Saturday morning cartoons and probably some bratting, and it's very, very like high femme. It's very girly, it's very pink, very over the top femme. And if that's not how, even if you do have, again, a daddy dom little girl relationship, those are the labels you're using on paper, you might not resonate with that style. And so maybe to avoid confusion or assumptions, you might just stick with CGL, even if like your partner is a daddy dom and you identify as a little girl. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that's like a widely happening thing in the community. I'm not like super tapped into what's going on with DDLG and CGL, but it's not. I don't think one is necessarily going to replace the other. Clearly, you can call it cat play so that it doesn't imply it's also CGL. That's actually the fair point. I got to make sure you're not making people confused about like, oh, well, is this is this also, are you a kitten because you're a little and a pet? You know, no one's ever asked that question before, but now that I'm thinking about it, there is overlap there. And so maybe I'm actually more of a little than I've previously considered myself to be, because I am specifically a puppy when I do pet play. Like, I'm not like a little baby, but I'm not like a fully... I'm not like Bandit's age. I'm not like a fully matured dog either. I'm like in that sort of, I guess, more of a middle. Like, if I had to put a label on like, what, if we're doing pet play, what age spectrum are you on for your pet play range? If I had to think about it, I'd say I'm probably more in like the middle range. Like, if I had to do, like if it's like, okay, for some reason you are being compelled to do some kind of scene that involves this spectrum of play, I would be a middle, like if I had to pick one. So I guess that makes sense, but there's not really a lot of terminology for that either. Now I'm gonna think about that. I'm actually filming a video this weekend where I'm talking about, I don't even know what I'm gonna call it. I just kind of want to call it Pet Play's fucking awesome. Like, I feel like I did a lot of like my intro level, like here's the basics of pet play kind of stuff again, and a couple years ago I made another more general basic video about pet play, and I feel like it didn't get that much traction, so I was like, okay, I kind of like said what I wanted to say about pet play. But I've really noticed it's coming back in a big way, and people are approaching it a little bit differently, and maybe just sort of talking about it in an off the cuff. Here's what I really love about pet play. Here's some like new concepts and ideas that people are playing with pet play. I don't know. I kind of want to make two videos, and one sort of like a here's what's really awesome and cool about it, and here's like maybe more of like an advanced pet play thing, because I feel like people are doing weird shit with pet play again, and I'm like kind of into it. I am super, super excited about the fact that there are people who are genuinely being like freaks with pet play, like doing things. I'm like, this is not what we were talking about 10 years ago with pet play. People are doing things with cameras and microchips and water sports and fucking like chemsex and pet play that I did not even, that was not on my radar even a little bit 10 years ago as an option. And now it's suddenly like the whole conversation, which I'm excited about. I think it's really matured with my own development in kink, and I like that. Yeah, so you're in luck. It's gonna happen. There might even be more than one. We'll see how it does, and then we may continue to talk about it from there. I personally don't use the word kitten play or call myself a kitten for that reason. I'm not a baby animal. I'm a full-grown cat. Yeah, and then it's like, yeah, I'm a pet player, and I am a cat. Like, I think totally makes sense because people don't really say cat play, do they? They don't. That's not really a phrase that people say. I need more gay/queer mask BDSM nerds to read this. The Subs Club by J. Rock. It's the best kink community rep fiction series I've ever read. Oh, really? Okay. The Subs Club by J. Rock. It is Rock, right? It seems like that's an R. The font on my end is like very, very small, so it's hard for me to read it. But I will definitely look that up because I'm always looking for solid kink representation. Does not matter the combination involved, gender-wise or anything else. I am just happy it exists. That would make me about 2.5. Yeah, that's a good. Yeah, that's actually, you know what? That's a solid. I think that's about right. I think I'm probably about 2.5 in pet years. I think we figured it out. That's great. Can't wait for the pet plays fucking awesome plus 10 new fucking awesome things we're doing with pet play videos. You know, the sad part is I definitely can't put fucking in a video title. We're not in that era of YouTube anymore. I have to say, it has to be something much lamer and more censored, unfortunately. I did have this thought yesterday. I was listening to, I think there was a Philip DeFranco video, something I was watching, and it was talking about, I think, something with the Epstein files, and they showed a news headline on screen that had the phrase sexual assault in it. And they had to blur out, except for the first letter. They didn't even blur out, they just blocked out, like you couldn't see it at all. You could see just the S and just the A and nothing else. And they even pixelized, not blurred, just like blocked out, solid color. And I realized, I'm like, so let me get this straight. A news headline on YouTube has to be censored because it's not advertiser friendly. But if I go to that exact news website, let's say it's New York Post. If I go to that exact news website with that exact article headline, I know that if I turn off my ad blocker, there's going to be 50 fucking ads on that webpage. So what is that? How does that make sense? So you're telling me a newspaper can serve ads on phrases like sexual assault, or in fact, on articles that go into great detail about the nature of the crime or sexual assault or whatever happened. And that's advertiser friendly. But if you talk about the same newspaper article on YouTube, it's not advertiser friendly. How does that make sense? Where is that coming from? I don't understand. It just seems very it just seems very silly to me. The only thing I can think of is that newspaper media is so culturally entrenched and they have such a deep, long-standing relationship with advertisement that they have a level of insulation that a relative up-and-comer like YouTube doesn't. And that's the only thing that happens. Yeah, the self-censoring is just ridiculous. Like, I obviously knew from the context of the story what it meant, but the fact that even when you're like, it wasn't a salacious drama channel or a gossip thing or anything like that. It was literally just a news show showing headlines relevant to the news that they were discussing in the show in a professional journalistic way. And the fact that that wasn't okay just seemed really weird to me. But that's YouTube for you. That's YouTube for you. Anyways, I'm excited about pet play stuff. And I'm glad that you are all, too. Beyond Booping the Nose, the evolution of pet play. That definitely sounds like the title of a class, probably more than a YouTube video. I think probably what I'm going to do is I'm most likely going to do a, like, here's what I love about what's happening with pet play currently, and here's all the like weird stuff we're currently doing that's like advanced, but like if you know the basics and this stuff's like fine basically. And then I know I've been saying this for a while, I do genuinely really want to dive into the rise of the puppy girl on the internet, because I think it is so fascinating. And it's honestly like 50% of the reason I am still on Twitter is because the fucking pet play content on there is awesome. Like, it's uncensored, it's super queer, it's super trans, it's awesome. I love it. I feel the breeze underneath my wings when I read stuff. I'm like, oh dang, these are my people. I love it. And you just can't get that on the other social media websites that still exist. Like, I don't want to go on FetLife. I don't want to have to deal with FetLife fucking garbage. FetLife is FetLife. Instagram is beyond censored. I think TikTok is even worse. And I don't even know what they're doing on Threads. I don't know what they're doing on Threads. I don't know, is it worth it for me to have a Threads account? I think probably not. Yeah. Anyways, that's what I'm thinking about. Yeah, I think that I have older videos where I've talked about like the history of different types of pet play, you know, leading up into the current era. But I'm specifically talking about the modern internet phenomenon of puppy girls suddenly becoming really popular online, as opposed to the whole history of pet play, which is a bit of a bigger concept, and actually would be curious if there is like documented history for that, because I think the answer probably comes out of it being a combination of inspirational stories, namely the story of O and the Sleeping Beauty trilogy, and getting pony play from that, and then that eventually creating other offshoots, and then puppy play coming from the gay men's community somehow. And I'm not tapped in enough to the gay men's community to know the origins of puppy play within the gay men's community, but I'm sure if I poked around I could find some answers. I don't know if I want to do the whole like YouTube mini documentary thing where like I start out with like the origins of puppy play begin in ancient Greece, where blah 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 blah, and then it takes me like 2 hours to get to the like, I already know I have enough problems in my videos getting to the fucking point. I don't think I need to start with like ancient rituals or humans dressed up as dogs in order to like appease the gods for like Lupercalia or whatever. I don't know, we don't need to go back to that. You know, we're not going to be starting the history with Lupercalia. I know that's too far. It's too far. Yeah, puppy girls are super popular. Yeah, they're still very popular. Get on Twitter. They're all over Twitter. That's the spot, man. I don't know where else they're at. I don't know. They're definitely elsewhere, but Twitter, you just go. I gotta listen. Okay. All right. I will show you all. I got the cutest. I'm working on like a new pet play outfit. Just like, you'll see it eventually. It's happening. I got the cutest thing to wear to Kink Fest this year, and I'm doing a whole new puppy play outfit, and I was thinking of this exact thing, and I couldn't find anywhere that made it, and then I just happened to come across somebody on Twitter, because thank you, puppy play community. Also, it's overlapping a lot now with Therians and furries. Overlapping on with furries, and I think we're all kind of cross-pollinating a lot more, and I think that's a good thing. But I found, look at these, look how cute they are. I got the yellow one obviously because I don't wear pink, unless I'm, well, there's certain circumstances where I wear pink, but we don't have to get into that. CNC is a multi it's a complex kink, but they're little badges. And they have ones that they say, please pet me. And they say ones that like, give me attention. And they got ones that ask to pet. And it's very cute. And I love it. And it's adorable. And it's awesome. And there you go. That's, this is from, and I'll show you this is their Twitter. If you would like to check them out. They're Puppy X Bite. They're very cute. They make like Condi too. That's really cute. I don't know if they have like an image here of like their like puppy Condi that's like really cute, but oh, here we go. They make like really cute like puppy candy as well, if you're into that kind of thing. And it's adorable, and it's awesome, and it's great. And you all should check them out if you like puppy things, because they're adorable. There you go. That's a shout out. That is Puppy X Bite on Twitter, and I think they're also on like Ko-fi and a couple other places. So there you go. Puppy girls are big on Tumblr. Oh, they're on Tumblr. Puppy boys tend to congregate there too. Love that. Not on Tumblr. I keep forgetting that exists as a website. But yeah, and that's like those, I like that we're repopulating our historic territory. This, what was once home, to puppy girls in times gone by, and then got nuked when Tumblr got rid of porn and then brought back porn. Now we're going back to our roots. They're awesome. Oh, here, I'll put the name in the chat as at Puppy X Bite on Twitter. There you go. I don't know if they're on other social media under that same name, but that's what they are on Twitter. Yeah, exactly. Vanilla people. CNC is rape play. Actual kinksters. CNC is being forced to wear pink. Listen, you have no idea. But actually, it really is though. Like, if you, as an ace person, if you put two situations in front of me, and one of them is forced to wear pink, and one of them is forced to perform oral sex, in my brain, they're basically the same activity. Like, I'm like, they're not suffering, doing something I don't want to be doing. Mentally, the same. If you put electrodes on my brain and you observe my brain activity, the same areas of my brain light up. We're doing those two activities. Like people just don't get it. You don't understand. Okay, nice. They're also on Blue Sky. Awesome. But yeah, when I get it in the mail, I'll show you all, and then you'll get to see my whole new puppy play outfit. I'm super excited about it. I haven't had like I haven't actually worn pet play stuff to conventions in a while. I don't know why I haven't. Normally if I'm traveling, like just having to bring like ears and a tail, like it takes up a lot of space in luggage. Surprised. Especially a tail. Like it's like I could either bring my hair straightener or my puppy play tail. I can't have room for both. But yeah, these are literally the same picture exactly. Yeah, there you go. And the more you follow, the more you'll see. It'll happen. Yeah, definitely need water. Okay, anyways, that's the puppy play update. Don't see autism comes across as little girl. If anything, I'm a brat. Okay, so my understanding is there are some people who, and from what I understand, some of these are people that are actually autistic, and they're like, this is just part of how it manifests. And I've certainly known in my life, like autistic women where they do have interests that are like younger than their biological age, not because they're age players or something, but because it's like, who says that I can't be 25 and still like playing with Legos or like building Pokemon decks or whatever. And I think we're more accepting of that now, but it's still not all the way there. But there are some people who just sort of, I don't know, I guess perceive autistic women in particular as being immature and little-ish, but not even in a kink way, just in like an infantilizing way. And I just am like very confused by that whole thing, because every autistic person I know is very different in that regard, and they're all across the spectrum because it is a spectrum. So, you know, who knows? Yeah, sometimes you're looking for clicker training posts and you end up on a very different part of the internet. Yeah. When you're 25, your Lego models just become giant. Yeah. I think for these people, it's specifically doing like Lego models that are meant for like a younger age demographic. Like obviously there's like, you can get Lego models of like cars. You can get Lego models of like collectible Star Wars stuff. Like you can get Legos that would take a 30-year-old like a month to build. Like they definitely, Lego has realized there is very much an adult market for their products. Like I know there's a lot of people I know who really like the flower Lego sets where you build like an orchid or something. It's very clearly maybe for like older girls, maybe like teen girls would also like that, but I think they're more marketed to adults than anything else. Yeah, they also have realistic motorcycle sets. Yeah, exactly. It's definitely for people in the man cave, or people that are just, you know, they have Lego and car autism, and that's their that's their thing. Yeah, I haven't really made Legos as an adult. I helped a little bit on one like a year ago, and that's the first Lego I've even like touched in probably like over 20 years. I didn't really play with them when I was a kid. I just never really got into it. Wasn't my thing. As a neurodivergent person, the vagueness of situationships deeply stress me out. Yeah, same. It's just, I can't. Just tell me what you want. Why can't, and if you don't know, why are we doing anything? Yep. Yep. On the other hand, a situationship is all some of us can reasonably expect, you know, oh, looking for something odd to change things up now and then thing. Yeah, I mean, I guess, I don't know. Maybe I'm not thinking of situationship the same way, because to me that isn't really a situationship, but I don't know. I don't know. I think maybe part of a situationship is that it exists in a liminal space that's hard to define in the first place. Oh, you moved to Poland. Oh, I see. Gotcha. That's what I've seen too. One person says, I don't care about labels, and one person very much wants labels. Exactly. Yep. It's like, what are we? And they're like, well, what does it matter what we are? I care about you. Isn't that enough? As I roll my eyes into outer space. Yeah, you don't get to touch the no-no square if you can't figure out how to ask for it. Yeah, it's like the bare minimum requirement is you know what you want, and then you can ask for it. And if you can't do those two things, then I don't have time for that. What's Huggy Wuggy? I don't have any... what is Huggy Wuggy? Huggy Wuggy... Oh my god. Oh, it's from Poppy Playtime. Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't really know what any of those words are, but I know kind of what Poppy Playtime is. Yeah. Listen, I'm glad you have hobbies. I feel like it's good for me that I don't really know anything about Skibbity Toilet or Poppy Playtime or what's the other one? They made a movie about it. I forget what it is. It's got like the bears in it or whatever. I don't need to know what any of that is. I'm fine. That's for people who are in a different age cohort than me, and that's okay. Search clicker training on Blue Sky, and the best post, Gen Z men eating boy kibble is appropriating puppy girl culture. It's true though. Why are they eating the kibble because it has good macros? Why are they eating? How do you even measure that? Most dog food doesn't even tell you an exact amount of protein per serving. It just gives you a general estimate. That's crazy. Oh my god. First of all, don't take clicker training advice from some fuckwad on Blue Sky or Twitter, because they're probably wrong. If you want to learn how to do a clicker training, get a dog and then take clicker training classes from a reputable dog training program. I have done dog clicker training with my actual dog. I have done it for years and years and years, and I learned how to do it through taking classes at an actual like high quality, well regarded local dog training place. And whenever I see a post on Twitter that talks about clicker training, without a doubt, there is some giant misconception that happens within that post that gets spread around because it's written by a 20-year-old who's never actually done real life clicker training before and then like read an AI summary of what it is from like a weird website and went, I can make this into a Twitter post. And that's not how that works. That's not how that works. Like, they confuse different, like, I don't know. I don't know. It's like a whole thing. They don't know. They don't know what operant conditioning is. They don't know, like, how the tools that they're using actually work. They don't know why it works. They, like, we're not going to get into it. It causes me psychic pain. But just, this is something that is very, very available to learn about on the internet that you don't have to get information on from a 20-year-old that read a website and then regurgitated it to you. It's not real kibble. It's apparently ground beef and rice. Oh my god, okay. I know what you're talking about. I've seen that. I saw, I don't know where I saw it. Was it a YouTube video? I think I saw somebody, like, review it as, like, maybe it was, like, Drew Gooden or somebody did, like, I bought whatever Instagram told me to buy for, like, a week or something, and then they got it advertised to them and they bought it. Like, I saw a YouTuber, I think, review that, and, it's like a meal replacement thing. It's kind of like Huel or something, but it's like a meat taco ground beef sort of deal, which I guess I'm glad that you know how to make your own food and you're not just getting DoorDash is what I'd say. Yeah, bodybuilding culture is definitely something else, yeah. I would love it if there is people kibble. The best you got in that regard is like cereal. Let's eat cereal and get something that's crunchy, and that's yeah, the cheese puffs kind of a little bit. Nothing that's like, you need like cereal that's savory. You need savory. Is there a country that makes like a savory cereal out there? Oh, what's the safe word? Oh, that's probably what I saw. Yeah. That's really funny. That's awesome. That's great. Is dog food. Yeah, I can't eat that because it's not vegan, but that's really fucking funny. Yeah. Yes, Soylent is one of the Huel alternatives. Although Huel makes, I don't think Soylent makes savory meal replacements. They only do shakes, I think, and like bars. Huel makes like a liquid meal replacement, and they don't advertise it as a meal replacement because I don't think they're legally allowed to, but people use it as a meal replacement or a meal alternative, I think maybe is probably what they call it. But they also make like savory dishes. They have I used to buy their macaroni and cheese a lot before they changed the formula, but they have like a Cajun pasta, they have a macaroni and cheese, they have a chili, they have some curries, I think, and they're designed to be high protein meal replacements that you add water to. Yeah, maybe plain Cheerios. I think plain Cheerios are probably the closest as far as minimum sugar, minimum flavor, but maximum kibble crunching experience. Absolutely. Yeah, definitely do not eat actual dog food, please. Do not do that. No. Anyways, let's get to some more questions. Oh, we're getting into our baby's vegan arguments. I will not be engaging in that, but feel free to do so if you would like. I'm pretty simple. I watch a guy machine parts in Australia because people making things is relaxing. Watching a guy repair and make guitars, same. I wish my brain worked that way. Unfortunately, I don't find that kind of thing interesting. But I am glad for people that are out there that like watching that content because it does seem like it's very popular. I found that diving into movies has brought a lot of joy. Diving into the history and everything has brought a lot of happiness in me. Oh, yeah, that'd be fun. Like the behind the scenes stuff and like the directors and the, you know, developing the movie. Yeah, that could be fun. Both times I went to LA, they had literal tornadoes and rainstorms. Just my luck. I was also there during Hurricane Hillary, and there was an earthquake during it. Oh my god, that is the worst luck. That is really bad. Oh no. Oh, that's awful. I'm very sorry. Yeah, that's definitely not the average experience. Non-gendered specific authority figure in NB equal NGSPAF/EN. Yeah, that'll do. That'll work. That'll catch on. I'm for sure. DDLG makes up the mass or most of CGL because it is more common for women to sub and men to dom, right? I wouldn't say that's it. I think it depends. So, in the online community, I think you'll see, I think in like the public online community, I think you'll see a lot more visibility for, you know, seemingly heterosexual, you know, male daddy dom, you know, femme, little girl, you know, cishet relationship certainly is the most common what you'll see online. But I think when you actually like survey people more broadly in the kink world of what relationship style do you have, you know, what's your orientation, what gender do you identify as, there's actually a lot of people that are men specifically who identify as, like, first of all, just a lot of men in general that, you know, because of how fetishes work, a lot more common for men to have a diaper fetish or to be an age player, like way higher. So actually, I think mommy dom little boy is actually also really common, but you just don't see it online as much because honestly, if it was online, like it would be a lot more subject to ridicule than daddy dom little girl stuff is. But yeah, I think it's probably the most common, but not by as much as you would expect. Like I think it's a good portion, but mommy dom little boys right there, and then obviously getting into like daddy dom little boy in the gay men's community, and then you also have like female daddies of like the female daddy little girl relationships in the lesbian community, and so on and so on and so on. So it's not as cut and dry as just, you know, one being the most popular. Yeah, I think it's probably mostly to distance themselves from negative connotations. All right. New pet player. Wow, I love both being in the dog role and in the handler role. Love to all my fellow not all humans. Yeah. It's getting popular. I wish there were more resources for handlers online. I think that's really needed. There's lots of pets online that talk to other pet players, but I don't really know anyone who's like an influencer or an educator who primarily identifies as a handler. There's lots of doms. There's plenty of doms. There's plenty of insert type of top here, but handler for pet plays is quite a bit more rare to find for education online, unfortunately. Oh my god, I have not thought about Nikopara in years. Oh my god, people love Nikopara. There were so many people who had like Nikopara cosplays and like Nikopara inspired kink gear. It was just like Nikopara everywhere, all over the place. Wow, yeah, I don't even, is Nikopara like still around? I'm gonna look that up. What is Nikopara? What are we doing with that? What's Nikopara up to? Well, there's a Reddit post from 2004, Nikopara series in retrospect, shallow but occasionally good. Wow. Wow, it's over 10 years old. It came out in 2014. Wow, I didn't realize how old it was. Has there been like a sequel to it or anything? There was apparently an OVA for it. A Sekai project. Have you done anything else? Oh, huh. You released a Clannad game for the Nintendo Switch. I guess that makes sense. That's a sad fucking. Why would you? That's. I can't even imagine playing that game. I don't see anything that's like a follow-up. Oh! There's I spoke too soon. There's a game called Nikopara Extra that came out in 2018, and there's Nikopara Volume 3 came out in 2017, and just in June of this last year, Nikopara After came out in June of 2025. Yeah, it's a release history. Yeah. Oh my gosh, there's been all kinds of releases. Given I don't know what any of these things mean, I don't know what Nikopara After means. I don't know. Interesting. So if you like Nikopara, there's apparently lots of content for it. So there you go. Nikopara, it's still around, it's still happening. Something for the kitten players at least, but not for moi. Some of our friends are trying to encourage my partner to teach a handler class because, yeah, it's definitely underrepresented. Listen, this is the best piece of advice I've ever gotten. Is not maybe the best piece, but it was a really solid piece of advice that I keep in my head, you know, even though this is like literally my job, is if you feel like you're not good enough to be doing something, just remember there is somebody out there who is objectively worse than you, who's already doing it, and they're doing it with AI. So if you feel like you can't put together a class, if you feel like you're not like good enough as an educator to teach, trust me, I have been to some real lemons of a class that like I would not recommend to people that I didn't enjoy, that I do not think were high quality education at all, but that people really liked, and they said that they learned something, and there you go. So you don't have to be the best. You just have to be able to share something, and hopefully you will, you know, get your friend to teach that, because there are definitely people who want to learn. Absolutely. Yeah, Nikopara is a game series that was popular back in the olden days of the pet play community, that apparently has continued to be around, and I did not know that because it was not something I ever played myself. There used to be a generic cereal here called Power Stars that I swear were based on Bachelor Jump from Futurama. That's really funny. But also Power Stars makes it sound like it's going to have like a really strong flavor. And the fact that it's savory is funny. Kenyan Chevdo is a savory cereal. Huh. Interesting. I've not done that in a very long time, but I do like to snack on frosted shredded wheat. I definitely have memories of doing that when I was a kid, just like getting a little bowl of like shredded wheat and then just eating that as a snack. Definitely not the least, not the least healthy thing I've ever consumed as a snack. Definitely. All right, I'm gonna go over to the. Oh wait, no, there were definitely. I feel like I'm missing part of the chat. I definitely know that I saw people ask questions in the main chat, and I'm like, not. I'm like looking for one specifically that I am not seeing for some reason. I don't know about if not safe for work is allowed on Blue Sky. I don't use Blue Sky, so you gotta Google that one, I think. Are bunny girls still relevant? Yes. People love bunny girls. I would even say I think bunny girls are on the come up. I think I've seen some bunny girl related stuff online. I don't think they're going to be as popular as puppy girls, but don't count them out. I think they're still up there. No, self-censoring is kind of like all over the place. It's not just YouTube, unfortunately, and it's not even the worst platform for it, I don't think. I am not familiar with dual comms. I don't know what that is, unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, I don't know. I have no idea what that is. Have you heard of Warhound? Never considered myself a pet player until I read it and got the brainworms. The book has a reputation as a cognito hazard for a good reason. I have never heard of this. All right, y'all making me Google stuff today. What was it? Warhound. Warhound. Is it The Warhound and the World's Pain by Michael Moorcock? The 1981 fantasy book? Or is it something different? Because I feel like the title Warhound probably... There's another book. It's called Warhound Volume 1 by Calidora Rowe. There's another one called Warhound. That's just a review by somebody I think it's the same book. I do like Beastars. Beastars I have watched and I have enjoyed, and seems like a fun time. The cover art for The Warhound and the World's Pain is very 1980s science fiction, and I sort of like that. It's very, very Sword and Shield. Yeah, I'm not kidding you. His name is... I didn't even realize. I didn't even think about that. Listen, look at this. I'm not lying. His name is Michael Moorcock. Look at this. That's his name. I didn't make it up. It's real. Yep, that's the name. That's what it's called. Yep. Oh, it's the Calidora wrong one. Okay. Yeah, I have not heard of that or seen it, but it is on Goodreads. And now what do people think about it? 4.5 stars. Okay, not too bad. Interesting. Actually, I do wonder if this had something. Now I'm like, well, maybe it did have something to do with the genesis of the interest in pet play. I don't know if that's connected. Fascinating stuff. New season of Beastars. Bunny Girl still going strong. Nice. Good. I have not seen the... Whoa. Okay. Okay, desk. Calm down. I got a little overzealous there. It's just... There we go. Okay. Yeah, horror from Beastars is great. I'd rather be Michelle Lescock. That's awesome. Yeah, that'd be a great drag name. That'd be a great drag name. Yes, I was looking for the temperature play question, and now I can't find it. So if you asked the temperature play question, I did see it, but I don't remember what it was, and now I can't find it in the chat, and I'm sorry if I missed it. So please ask it again. But that being said, I'm going to swap over here to the Q&A box. So possibly it's in the Q&A box, and it's right there. But thank you all so much for using the Q&A box. I know it's different, so I appreciate you all using that. Hi, V, and happy birthday, Bandita. I have a follow-up to my core kink question from earlier. Is it possible to have more than one? So I don't really want to put like hard and fast rules around this. I would say, like, okay, I've talked about it as what is your core kink? And to me, that means what is like the thing that motivates your interest in kink, at least on that side of the slash. So I would say, assuming you're not a switch, I would say if you're just a submissive or just a top or just a dom or whatever, most likely one, maybe like two. If you are narrowing it down to like 3, 4, 5, you probably haven't dug deep enough yet. You haven't really discovered what the core kink is that connects all those, is what I would say, generally speaking. I feel like I answered this in the Patreon stream on Tuesday. Maybe I didn't. So if you feel like you have like 5 core kinks, that's too many. You need to keep, you haven't hit the bottom yet. You just keep digging. You've hit a false bottom, you're not there yet. But if you're a switch, I would say you probably have You could have one that's like universal, that like transcends topping and bottoming and just is equally applicable for any role that you're in. But I think if you're a switch, it's a lot more likely that you'd have like one for your top side, one for your bottom side. Or you might have like, again, like one or two. I think I would say probably one, maybe two. If it's getting into 3, 4, 5, it's too many. In my opinion, and how I conceptualize of what a core kink is. Because if you have a whole bunch, then like, what's the difference between saying your list of kink interests that you have? You know, I like bondage, I like fire play, I like pet play, and like saying 5 core kinks. Like, you haven't, like, the utility of the core kink is to understand what your deeper psychological motivation for play is. And if it's like 5 different things, it's not that helpful for like what you would want to use a core kink for, if that makes sense. Community related question. Any tips for a first time going to a bar munch? Oh, interesting. Going to a bar munch specifically. So I haven't been to bar munches too often. I've gone a couple of times. My general advice for going to a bar munch is broadly the same as what I would give for a standard munch. But I would add on, especially if you're not used to going to bars and you're not used to drinking, I would really try to go early, because if you show up and it's like an hour or two in, bars get really loud, the lighting in them is not usually very good, and it'll be even harder to break into conversations with people than it would be if you were at a restaurant munch or like a hiking munch or insert other flavor of munch that's not at a bar. And especially if you're not used to being around drunk people and socializing around people who are like tipsy, because people usually, at least in my experience at bar munches, people don't get drunk. It's not a party. People aren't there to like drink really heavily, but people might have like, you know, a couple glasses of wine or like a stiff drink or two. And depending on how much they're used to drinking, you know, people are going to be a little bit tipsy. You know, people have consumed alcohol, so that does change the social environment just because of that. So I think going there early and introducing yourself before people really start drinking is always a good idea, especially if you're not used to being in that kind of environment. But otherwise, I think it's usually more or less the same as going to any other kind of munch. At least it shouldn't be that different. Like, you know, people aren't going to be, you know, getting naked. They're not going to be, you know, propositioning you for play. They shouldn't be trying to aggressively hit on you. If people are doing stuff like that, it's not because it's at a bar. It's because they have a different understanding of what a munch is. And that's not what I usually think of as a munch. But yeah, good question. Yeah, but good luck. Hopefully you like it. And I guess also too, the other thing is my experience with going to bar munches is because they're 21 plus, at least assuming you're in America. When you're going to a bar munch, you know, because they're 21 plus, they do tend to skew older and more experienced. Not always, but that's just what I've observed. Is one of the draws of going to the bar over like a more general venue is the more general venue that's not a bar is more likely to draw people who are like 18, 19, 20, brand new to kink, brand new to adult relationships, and so that tends to cause those events to skew a little bit younger, and bar munches, because they're 21 plus, just tend to skew a little bit older. Not by a lot, but like, I don't know, if the average age at a regular munch is like late 30s, average age at a bar munch might be like early 40s. But it depends on where you live too, a lot. Like if you're in a college town, if you're in the middle of nowhere, if you're in the middle of a really big city with a lot of different munches at it, that can change things too. But definitely check out whatever the event listing says on FetLife or Bloom or however this is being organized. Read the description, look at who's RSVP'd, do all those normal things that you would do for checking out any other kink event and seeing if it's your vibe. But yeah, what's up? Isn't nothing much. Pretty good. Bandit camera decided to break at the beginning of the stream, so no camera. But other than that, pretty good. Fun time. Good stuff going on. Good questions. Good question from Newton Burr. How does a person become involved in BDSM while having... Let's see if... am I still live? Am I still live? Did we reconnect? Can you guys see me and hear me? Okay, thank God. I was like, YouTube used to have this problem where if you dropped a stream, it would just stop your stream immediately. And then if you reconnected, you'd have to start a whole new stream, and it was like a fucking disaster. So I don't know where I was when it cut off exactly. I think I caught it pretty quick. Yes, it has returned. Thank you. And it was like not even... Oh, fuck! Ah! No, not again. It happened again immediately. That's so weird. Okay, that's weird that happened back to back. Is there, what is going on? Is something going on with my internet right now? What's happening? That's, I don't know. Sometimes the internet's like, we're doing scheduled maintenance to the service in your area. Let's see if that's happening. No, not services. Well, no outages found, no maintenance. Okay, we should be fine. All right. I'm going to assume that that's not going to happen again. No, I did not answer your question yet. It was not your internet. Actually, it was mine. It was, unless your internet also went out, in which case that's a weird coincidence. I was on answering a question about physical disabilities and BDSM dungeons. And I was just about to start answering it. And I was telling you all that I have an older video where I talked to a couple of people that have disabilities and are part of the BDSM community. And obviously part of the answer to this is it depends. Okay, so you have a physical disability. That really depends on your, like, what you're dealing with, what your local community is like, where venues are at. So if you're somebody who is using a wheelchair, for example, your concern is going to be different than somebody with epilepsy or somebody who's blind. So I can't necessarily give you a super universal answer based on that, but, you know, you can always reach out and ask people like, hey, is this building ADA compliant? I'm in a wheelchair. Am I going to be able to get in the building? Am I going to be able to attend the munch? And they should be able to give you an answer. The unfortunate part about at least in my experience in America, there's a lot of restrictions on what areas of a city a BDSM dungeon can operate in. And it tends to end up that BDSM dungeons are found in more industrial, older parts of the city. And so that means those buildings are less likely to be ADA compliant, which means if you have concerns about, like, can I attend this event because I'm in a wheelchair or use some other kind of mobility aid, there might be actual issues like physically accessing the dungeon space. But outside of that, just like generally getting involved, it's pretty much the same process. Finding places on FetLife, messaging organizers if you have questions, seeing who's RSVP'd, and then, you know, presuming that you're able to get answers about, you know, can I go to the space? It should be fine. I know plenty of people that bring service animals to kink events, to dungeons, to conferences, to outdoor events, you name it. If it's kinky, I have seen a service animal at it. I have seen blind people in the community. I see tons of deaf people at Kink Fest every year. I've seen plenty of people with mobility aids. I at least as far as visible disabilities are concerned, I've seen like basically the whole spectrum in the kink community. Which is not to say that all places are equally accessible or welcoming. Definitely there's a lot of discrimination that happens even in the kink scene towards people with disabilities, especially visible ones. But they should at least be able to answer questions if you have concerns about like accessing a space. Also, those older buildings might be quote-unquote compliant, but not truly accessible. Yeah. Like, if you are in a building that's technically compliant, but, like, the only way to get down to the dungeon area is to take a really rickety old elevator that's, like, technically probably the correct dimensions to fit a wheelchair in, but actually isn't really like usable by somebody in a wheelchair, that kind of thing will definitely happen too. So, but unless the venue is brand new, I can almost guarantee you that this is something that they have been asked about before. And if it's a good venue, if they're ran by people that are hosting the kind of event that you want to attend, even if they don't have an answer, they will be able to find out and will be invested in finding out for you. So that way they can give you an answer. And if they're like, well, I don't know, just show up and see what happens, then like, well, you probably don't want to go to that event, do you? You can always ask about like, hey, was the music in this space like? What are the accommodations like that you can offer? I think conventions actually are a pretty good place to start. Like, both Kink Fest and Dark Odyssey are very, very good about disability accommodations, whether it's the fact that it's very normalized to have service animals in those spaces. Kink Fest just by default automatically has ASL translators in every single classroom. They have reserved seating in every single classroom for anybody with a disability to use, doesn't matter what it is. They have a very generous process of writing accommodations for people to use in dungeons, or for just generally like communicating with people ahead of the event to work with you to figure out, hey, how can we help you, be able to go to this event in the first place? What would this make for a better experience for you? I normally wouldn't recommend going to a convention as like a first kink experience or first time at a dungeon, but conventions typically have financial resources that dungeons on their own don't always have, and that munches certainly do not have. And that gives them oftentimes the ability to do more than other spaces can do. And also, usually if they're at a hotel, if they're at an expo hall, because those buildings are older or are newer, compared to the typical like renovated industrial warehouse thing that a lot of BDSM parties end up being at, they're just more likely to not just be compliant, but actually be accessible. But yeah. Yeah. Are there any resources or reading materials on getting involved if you are housebound, if venues are inaccessible? I don't know of any resources in particular for getting involved if you're housebound, but certainly on FetLife, there are a lot of virtual events. Forbidden Tickets has a lot of virtual events on it. The Plura / the Bloom community app has a lot of kink events on it, and FetLife is a hub for like basically everything that's virtual on the kinky English speaking internet. So that is probably where I would start, but I don't think I don't at least know personally of any resources for people that are housebound. There's also a really good convention that I like. That is, let me find the link for it. I recommend it all the time, but it's because it's good. So there is a conference that's called Thrive. It's a BDSM and mental health conference, but that definitely overlaps into conversations about disabilities and accessibility as well. I don't know if this year, if they're doing anything. Let me just look and see if there's anything that's about like disability on the schedule. It's coming up here pretty soon. It's in April, I think. Oh no, it's in May. Okay, it's not for a while. But it looks like they at least have there's a class it looks like on negotiation practices for people with disabilities. So I think that's interesting. Oh, which is going to be a class on fawning responses. That sounds very interesting. And now I'm just looking at this for me. Interesting. Okay. Cultural competence and the BDSM. Okay, anyways, I really like this convention. I think it's a great resource. It's obviously more focused on the mental side, but things can go together. So just recommend that in general. Yeah, especially if the buildings are in older downtown areas, a lot of them will have stairs and stuff like that, but not ramps. Yeah, that's exactly what I mean by like they're not always going to be accessible. Is they have stairs, they don't have ramps, they have elevators, they have like pick a thing, right? Or like half the dungeon is downstairs and half of it's upstairs, and you can access one part of that but not the other. Oh, good. Thank you. Yeah, if anyone has specific kink/disability questions that you think I might be able to help with, I can still be reached at the contact info I gave you on that old video of yours. Yeah, so if you, that video that I made on disability and kink that was an interview, if you look for that on my channel, there should also be like contact information for that in there if people would like help. And yeah, also Raven Caldera has several books. I have not read the ones that are on physical disability, so I can't speak to how good they are. I've read the one on the ones for mental health, and they're like anthology books, so the quality level varies a little bit, but I found them to be generally sort of helpful, at least in sort of, oh, there's people who are like me that do kink, and I think that's always good to see. Wondering if my question went through in the Q&A. Let me see. Oh, well, don't want to do that. That's too big. Hi, Kai. If you left a question in the Q&A chat, I don't see it. So you might want to try to put it in there again. FYI. But good question. Thank you. Yes. And then Sean, I did see your tests as well. Your question test went through. What do you think is a good idea for hot temperature play? That's not fire, sticky, liquid, or food. Sorry, I'm kind of picky, not gonna lie. No, you're good. Does wax count as a liquid? I guess that probably counts as a liquid when it hits your skin, but it's like not liquid for very long. It like hardens up really quickly. So wax play, if you don't count that as a liquid, would probably be the easiest. Actually, what I would probably do is I would think about things that you could heat up for temperature play. The problem with that is they're probably, oh, actually, you could probably do wax. It's like the warm, like it's kind of like City's liquid, more or less the same amount. Never mind, I'm not gonna go there. But things that you can heat up, how warm they will stay is, haven't had enough testing personally to say one way or the other, but I know that there are like facial massage tools that you can buy that are meant to warm up for like muscle relaxation and depuffing. So like gua sha, look for like gua sha tools or like facial depuffing tools that are meant to get warm or hot. And you don't have to just use them on your face. You can use them all over the body. I just don't know how long those stay warm for. And then there's like no mess. I definitely know people that will do things like, you know, heating up a metal spoon or a metal ladle. The word is ladle. Heating up a metal ladle or some other kind of metal instrument and then using that against the skin. But again, kind of hard to make sure the temperature stays where you want it to be at in using a tool that way. And then you have to like maintain, like essentially like normally you're heating them up with like warm water, right? So there's still technically something liquid involved there. But those are probably the ones that I know that are not sticky, liquid, or food. Let me see if there's anything else I can think of that's like warm that you could use for like temperature play stuff. Oh, you could heat up stones too. You can get like massage stones, like the ones like if you've had a massage where they do like hot rocks, you could get I think they even make kits for them. You can get like a massage stone heating kit, and then you can have like hot stones that you use for massage. Because they'll also do for massage, they'll like put oil on you, and then they'll like glide the stone around. You don't have to use the oil, but if you're using it for massage, you want the stones to glide. So you do like a light base layer of like an oily like massage glide, and to have the stones be able to move around. So that might be a good option too. Yeah, hopefully that gives you some ideas of what to work with. But yeah, that's nothing wrong with being picky at all. It's totally valid, totally valid. is kneeling in spirit specific to subs, bottoms, and power dynamics in general, or is it more broadly applicable? So there's 2 books. Kneeling in Spirit is focused on stories from subs, bottoms, and people on that side of the slash. There's another book that I cannot remember the name of that's for doms and tops. But yes, they're meant for specific sides of not necessarily just power exchange, but different sides of the slash in the kink world. But I think you can still learn from them even if you're from the other side of the slash as well. I was wondering about temperature play as well. Any tips on getting into wax or other hot/cold methods that aren't fire because burnt hell smells bad? Well, shave if you're talking about the hair burning when you put something on the skin. But if things can burn if you don't shave, if you're applying hot stuff to it, or you might rip it out. No, that's not pleasant. But if you don't want to have an open flame for wax play, the most common thing people will do is heat up wax in bulk in a crock pot and then use a ladle or a brush or something to apply the wax. So that's one thing you can use. You can also get into heating up or chilling, like a massage glide. You could use that too. So you could put put a massage glide in like the fridge and make it quite cold, or you can warm up a massage oil in warm water and make it quite warm if you want to do something that's not involving fire. Cold is usually a lot easier if you don't want something that's gonna singe you because it's cold. So putting stuff in an ice bath ahead of time, putting it in the freezer. Basically anything that's like plastic, metal. So like a metal credit card is a really good option. All different kinds of kitchen utensils. Pop them in the freezer for a little bit, dunk them in cold ice water, and there you go. That's a pretty good place to start. Bags of sand can also be heated up quite warm, and they don't generally burn, especially if you heat it in a microwave. Make sure your bag is microwave safe though. Oh, interesting. I hadn't thought of that before. Bags of sand. I guess that people do I've seen people use that kind of thing for like heated eye masks before, because people will have like buckwheat pillows and things I think you can put in the microwave. So that makes sense. Yeah. That's another thing. But you have to have access to a microwave, which some dungeons have, and some, not as many. I can't always assume what people got, but if you have access to a microwave, that's a good one for sure. I think during any ideas for hot temperature play that's not fire, hot spoons, rocks, or messy. Listen, if you want something that's not fire, not hot spoons, not hot rocks, not messy, not sticky, not food. There's only so many substances in the world. You might just not be into temperature play, and it's fine. At some point, your options for temperature play are just getting in hot and cold showers or a hot tub. Sometimes just, but is that messy? I don't know. What wax is good to use? Wax play candles that are specifically manufactured for kink purposes. Do not use beeswax. Do not use random scented candles you find at the store. Be very careful about what you use, just in general. I would really recommend sticking with stuff that's simple. Look for something that's like soy or paraffin based primarily, and there's a bajillion of them on Etsy and on FetLife even you can browse and look around at. But find something that's made by a person who makes like wax candles or wax melts for wax play. You can also get like bulk pellets of wax that are meant for people to turn into candles. You can just heat up in a crock pot. But the issue with that is if you don't know anything about wax play at all yet, and you don't really know what temperature to even look for, I would just not mess with that. Just like get something that's made by a person who knows what they're doing. Don't worry about trying to find like a good temperature range for like a soy wax pellet. Don't worry about it. Keep it easy. There's people who make like beginner intro level friendly like low temperature wax play. Like I would specifically look for low temperature BDSM wax play candle is what I would Google, and then look for that. Staying in front of a hairdryer to enjoy the breeze, maybe? Yeah, exactly, yeah. For someone who is also neurodivergent, how likely is it for me to find belonging in the community? Sorry, I'm laughing because we are all neurodivergent. It's not everyone, but like it's like at least like 25%. You are gonna find, this is the thing. The kink community is really actually just a secret place for neurodivergent people to find each other. I swear to God. I have been in the kink community for 10 years. I have not dated or been friends with a person who is neurotypical, except for like one person in those 10 years. Almost like 3/4 of people that I meet and I am friends with in the kink community turn out to have some combination of ADHD and autism. So there you go. And then the people that say they aren't find out later. So there are so many people in the community who are neurodivergent. Just think about it. There's so many overlaps with other interests that other people who are neurodivergent have. It's so common. There's a reason there's a whole convention where half of it is about people being neurodivergent. It's because there's a lot of us in there. There's a lot of us that are in the community. Not everyone, but if you're involved in the kink community and going to events and you're not just, like the people who are neurotypical that are involved in kink, they're doing it in the bedroom by themselves. They're not in the community, and they're doing it with their boyfriend or their girlfriend with the lights off, you know? Like, they're not getting involved. They're not looking for a community. They're just doing their own thing. You have to be at least a little bit weird to get involved in the community, I think, is what I'm increasingly finding out. So, yes, you will not only feel welcome, you will probably experience, oh my God, these are my people. Sally's Beauty sells blocks of paraffin wax and wax warmers. Oh yeah, I've never tried that for wax play before, but I don't know if that's safe or not. I don't really know a lot about it, but I have seen that as an option for sure. I do really like the Earthly Body hemp seed candles are good. I have used those before. Those are nice. Yeah, there's definitely an overlap, yeah. Yeah, exactly. The focus on explicit consent and conversations is really helpful. Yeah. All right. But anyways, good question. Let me see here. So really a lot of questions. Oh my God, there's so many. I answered the one about neurodivergence. Could kink be an avenue for stimming as a neurodivergent ADHD/autistic person? Yes. Gonna keep that answer short. Yes. Absolutely. Definitely happens. What is your stance on dating someone that you, quote, play with on the sub or dom side? Don't think too hard about it. I am a very romantic person. I will definitely do casual pickup play with friends. I will do pickup play that's just for fun and not romantic and not sexual. But I am primarily motivated in kink by romantic relationships and dating people that I do kinky stuff with. And I don't know how people got it in their head that it's like weird to date their dom or their sub, but it's whatever combination of things you want to be doing. It's like pick whatever combination of kink, sex, and romantic dating that you want to have as an experience, and you will find people that want that thing. There are lots of people who date their partners that they do kinky stuff with, and lots of people that don't. There are lots of people who only have sex with their kink partners and don't date them. There are lots of people who date their partners and don't have sex with them. Like, it's whatever combination. It's not weird. It's whatever floats your boat. My personal stance is I'm not interested in doing deeper levels of kink with people that I'm not romantically involved with, but pickup play, totally fine as friends. Other people are the opposite, and they are fine doing kink stuff and having sex with people that they play with, but dating is not their thing, or in order for them to be comfortable as a dominant or as a submissive, they have to completely separate it from anything romantic, and that would like ruin the experience for them. So, but that's not how I approach kink. That's not what I do. I can kind of understand how people would do it that way, but I can't really speak to any specific like advice if that's what you're looking for on that front. In some dungeon clubs, they seem to suggest that people don't like being mentors. Is this true? Is there a way to get around that? Interesting question. People don't like being mentors. I don't know what you mean by can I get around that? You can't make anybody be your mentor. And if you are going around dungeons and trying to essentially cruise for a mentor, that's not going to turn out well for you. I would not recommend doing that for your own well-being and safety. If you're trying to get around that and convince somebody to be your mentor, don't. Respect people's boundaries. No. You don't need a mentor. There's so much education in the kink world that's accessible. There are books, there are podcasts, there are YouTube videos, there are conferences, there are virtual classes, there are workbooks, you name it. There is a way to learn how to do kink. You do not need to have a mentor. I think a lot of people try to use a mentor as a, I don't know, like a safety, like a security blanket. They try to use a mentor as a security blanket to convince themselves that they are therefore learning the best possible way of doing kink in the most secure way, and they're they don't have to take the risk of learning something on their own because somebody else is taking over the job of teaching them as opposed to you teaching yourself. So yeah, take advantage of the copious physical and online resources that exist and teach yourself, because the sort of people that are good, that would be good at mentoring, are probably too busy in their own kink relationships, too busy teaching people, just too busy in their lives to be mentors. And the kinds of people who seek out being mentors to other people are probably going to teach you a very rigid way of doing BDSM that's based on how they think kink needs to be, as opposed to teaching you how you want to be in kink. And really, kink is about discovering your own relationship with kink, and you can't get there by just following instructions that somebody else gives you, especially not like somebody who's like, I'm going to teach you how to be a dom, right? So to be careful with that. Yeah, if you can't even figure out how to locate a munch, don't try to find a mentor. You're trying to skip to step 5 and you're on step 1. So slow down a bit, slow down. But also, I would say, like, some people do like mentoring. Like, some people like the idea, but ultimately, they're probably too busy doing other things to make time for mentorship. And you're certainly not going to get that by just being like, will you be my mentor? Will you be my mentor? Will you be my mentor? Like, genuine mentorship comes out of probably developing, like, a friendship first, getting to know each other, and then it's sort of organically growing out of that friendship, as opposed to happening because you're actively seeking one out. Yeah. All right. Oh my gosh. Okay. I have like 10. I don't even have 10. Oh my God. I have like 5 minutes left. Panic. I'm panicking. What do I do? I got so many more questions. No, it's good. Don't worry about it. I love the questions. Don't feel like you can't ask a question. I love it. Even if I don't get to it in a stream, I read them and I think about it for later and next week and potential videos. So don't worry about it. Who do I answer next? I think I answered that one already. Do you have any advice for someone who's new to going to events? I've asked friends to go with me, but they've turned me down and I'm afraid to go by myself. Oh, imp. Totally understandable that you're afraid to go by yourself. If you're afraid to go by yourself, I recommend looking for like a public daytime activity-based event. If your friends don't want to go with you, just be brave and go to the beginning of an event. Don't promise. This is what you do. Okay, hack your brain. Say, I'm not committing to go to the full event. Brain, it's okay. It'll be fine. We'll live. It'll be fine. We're just going to go for 10 minutes. And we're going to see what it's like. We're not staying for the whole night. We're not going to a whole party. We're just going to go for 10 minutes. And then we can leave. We can go get an ice cream. All right, this is what we do. We hack our brains. And we say, we're going to go. We're not going to stay the whole time. It's not going to be scary. We're going to go for 10 minutes. And then when we're done, we're going to reward ourselves. We're going to get a little ice cream. We're going to get a little drink from Starbucks. We're going to watch a TV show that we like. We're going to reward ourselves for doing the thing that's hard and scary and difficult. Okay? And if you like it, you can stay for longer. But only commit for going just for a little bit, just to see what it's like. You're just checking it out, okay? Go to something that's really, really easy. And what's really easy? Something in public. Something during the daytime. A munch, not a party. Not a wet t-shirt contest. Not anything. No, none of that. Okay. Go to a daytime karaoke night. Go to a hiking munch. Go to a board game meetup. A meetup at a boba place. Go somewhere. It's like I've seen people do like knitting, kinky knitting circles, or book clubs, or film clubs, anything like that. Just go for a little bit. Just a little bit, okay? And if you don't like it, if the vibe is off, you leave. You haven't made a big commitment. No one's a secret. Nobody cares. New people come and go all the time. If it's a munch that's been around for any length of time, they are very used to people showing up and never coming ever again. That's what normally happens most of the times. People go to one munch and then never come back. So if you just show up, if you show up and you're there for like 15 minutes and then you go to the bathroom and you don't come back, people probably are not even going to notice and they're not going to worry about it. It's fine. Or maybe you do meet people there and you say, hey, I gotta go because I ran out of quarters for the parking meter. Some of them might be like, well, I can give you some quarters if you want to stay for longer. And other people might be like, oh, totally get it, no problem. See you around. And that's it, no problem. Easy. But don't stress yourself out too much. Don't make too big of a commitment. Totally normal to be afraid. But if you have no other options, if you have to go by yourself, make it easy. Go to something really simple. Don't go for too long. And I promise, it's not going to be that scary. Just do your research, read about the munch, see who's RSVP'd, get a sense of the vibe before you go, make sure it's something that you're going to like, and it'll be fine. It'll work out. Don't worry about it. It'll work out. It'll be fine. Totally okay to be scared. Perfectly normal. Most people are a little bit scared going to their first munch. Everyone else is going to be in the same boat, but don't worry about it. I mean, you can. It's okay to worry. Don't invalidate your worries. It's fine. But, you know, like, you don't have to worry. It's okay. You can let go of that. It'll be okay. Also, too, if it's a munch, you can reach out to the person who set it up and let them know you're anxious and you want to go and you want to say hi. Just do that. That's how I met my partner. That's awesome. Yeah, exactly. You can also, like, messaging event organizers is a great thing to do. Just be like, hey, exactly that. Like, I'm new. I'm going by myself. I'm kind of nervous. Do you have any advice for me? Can you, like, introduce me to people? I only want to go for, like, 10 minutes. Just letting you know what I'm planning on doing. Also, very typical thing to happen. Very normal. They will help you navigate that. I promise they have heard and seen that before. This is a community that is full of neurodivergent people. This is not the first time a munch has faced social anxiety. You are certainly not alone. In fact, there are probably a lot of people at that munch who also know exactly what it's like because they were in the same place that you are in now 6 months ago, a year ago, 5 years ago. They remember, they know what it's like. As someone who hosts events, we absolutely will happily take a message from you, and if you let us know, we'll make the effort to say hi, make you feel welcome, etc. Yeah, exactly. I can't guarantee every host will be that good, but most of us are. Yeah, I think if it's an event that is worth going to, they will respond to a message like that and be very affirming and be warm and be friendly and make you feel comfortable. And if they don't do that, then that's a sign it's not the event for you. Oh my god, is the stream gonna disconnect immediately before I'm about to end it? I'm going to beat this internet with a hammer. I don't know how I'm gonna do that. I don't know how I'm gonna. Oh my god, I really did disconnect. No. Okay. Hopefully that was very brief. I don't know what is going on with my internet today. All right. Let me see. Do I have time to get to any other questions? All right. I'm just gonna answer this one. This is very short and sweet. Is a DS dynamic actually kinky if your religion says the man has to lead and the woman has to follow? Most kinky people I know don't follow any particular religion. So, no? Like, okay. I don't even know this question. This seems adversarial. I don't like it. But most kinky people I know are not religious and are at minimum agnostic, if not atheist. So they're not following any religion. So whatever religious teaching has to say doesn't fucking matter. But whether or not somebody is religious has no bearing on whether or not something is kinky. And if you think that those two things are connected, I don't know what to tell you, because that is incredibly reductive and is seeing a false connection where there's not any. Also, you're assuming that a DS dynamic involves a man leading and a woman following, which is very much not always the case. But, yes. I feel mad about it disconnecting, like, immediately before the stream is about to end. Anyways, let me gather the Bandita. Hello, sweet girl. Hello. Oh, girly. Come here. Hi. Oh, little baby. Hello. Are you the birthday girl? Is it your birthday week? Yeah, it is. Oh, sweet girl. Hello. What are you doing, baby? Hi. Oh, sweet girl. She was staring at the back of my head. She's like, what are you doing, woman? Is the Bandita. Thank you all so much for joining us on this Friday night live stream. I hope you all enjoyed it. Thank you for being here. If you've not already, please do subscribe. I really appreciate you all spending some of your Friday night with me. Hopefully you have a great time this weekend, whatever it is you're getting up to. Stay safe, have fun, drink your water, and Bandita and I will see you again really soon. Bye. Bye. All right, see y'all later. Bye-bye. Actually, we're officially ending the stream for real now.